Hey, some time ago I recorded a video about motivation for programming and how to stay focused and interested in the work you do when doing this really boring job of writing code. And I got a number of questions on YouTube, and one of the interesting one was, what do we do when the manager who is managing the project gives us some goals which contradict with our intention to be happy at work, to write code which we like. Even though the question sounds quite specific, I mean, the person who asked the question is looking for some specific recommendations what to do with the manager. I cannot give you that recommendation right now, but on a larger scale of a problem, I think that many of us programmers, and maybe not only programmers, focus too much on the goals and metrics and objectives and targets which are defined by our managers. Even though they are important, the managers, of course, they set up goals, they define what we need to do, they want something from us specifically. But I suggest you, and I suggest it to myself as well quite often, is to focus more on the goals which we set for ourselves instead of on the goals given to us by the managers. And our goals, which we define for ourselves, the metrics, the goals, the targets, the objectives. I'm using the word metrics because I like the goals usually to be defined in numbers. Let's say your objective, your personal objective could be to gain 1,000 stars on your GitHub pet project. Or there could be a certain amount of money you earn during this year. Or this could be maybe a number of blog posts you write, or maybe a number of maybe a new programming language which you create or which you learn, something which is yours, some goal which is yours. When, like, be a manager for yourself. And then when you join a company, when you join a team, then there you will get their goals. They will tell you what they need from you, and then try to align those two objectives, two goals. And the priority number one should go to your personal objectives. Their goals come next. I'm not suggesting you to sabotage your management. I'm not suggesting to go against your team. Definitely this is not what I'm suggesting. But every time coming to the team and every time joining a new manager, completely working for that person or for that team is a wrong strategy, because you will be unsatisfied on the long term. In 10 years, you will change at least 4 companies. You will be at 4 different teams, and for most of you, there will be 8 or 10 teams. And you will look back after 10 years of journey, and you will look back and see that you worked for 10 different managers. You worked for 10 different teams, and 10 different goals were defined for you. What you've learned from that? What's your achievement? What's your success criteria? If every time in all of these 10 teams and all of these 10 managers, you will focus on what they want you to focus on, then you will lose your personal focus. So it would be much better if during this journey of 10 years, you will have your own personal objective, which will go through all of your employment contracts, which will help you not lose yourself during this long journey through many different projects. And projects will change. You will have different business domains, you will have different programming languages, you will have different teams. Sometimes you will quit, sometimes they will fire you. Many things will happen. You will be unsatisfied with their results, you will be unhappy with the things they do, you will be unhappy with the people you work with. Many things will happen. But if through all of this long trip, you will stay with your personal goal. Let's say I want to have a super popular open source project. In my opinion, that should be this is one of the most noble and the most effective goal a programmer can define for himself or herself. So if you define this goal for you now and say, okay, in 10 years, I want to have a project, I want to have a product in open source which has 10,000 stars on GitHub. That's a pretty big objective that not so many people in the world can be proud of saying that they have something like that. So if you define it for yourself and then bring this goal to every next team you join and keep it with you, then everything will be much more of a satisfaction for you than just a boring work with no outcome in the end. That's what I'm trying to do. It doesn't really work all the time for me, because every team which I join, every project I join, they try to take me on board with them. They try to convince me to betray my goal and work for their goal. I mean, I'm using this word betray, it's quite strong, but it is what they want. I mean, maybe not explicitly, but in the background, on the back of their mind, all teams and all managers, they really want you to abandon your goals and work for them. So you don't need to disclose your real objectives, to disclose your personal objectives, but sooner or later they will find out. They will know that this guy is coming to us, but on the background, maybe on his free time, even sitting in the office, he is interested strategically in 10 years to achieve this specific objective. Everybody will respect you for that. Well, they're not going to like you that much for that, because you're you have a sidetrack project, sidetrack goal, but they will definitely respect you for having that. And you will respect yourself. That's probably the most important thing, to be happy with the coding you do every day. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.